Welcome to the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. My name is Paul Salter, and I'm a triple-digit golfer on a quest to become a scratch golfer. I'm also a high-performance mindset coach and credentialed hypnotherapist with 15 years of experience helping high performers from all walks of life get unstuck and unlock their full potential. Join me each week as I not only detail my journey, but make mastering the mental game of golf simple, tangible, and relatable so that you can overcome the mental hazards keeping you stuck in the proverbial bunker of poor performance. Hey, fellow golfer. Welcome back to another episode of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salter, the golf hypnotherapist, and yes, this is a podcast on goal setting today. Now, what better time to talk about goal setting than the end of the year? All jokes aside, you are going to glean a new perspective on goal setting today. In this episode, I am going to walk you through the detailed and unique approach that I personally use to craft that one overarching ultimate goal, and ultimately the process I use to reverse engineer every action item, step, and area of priority importance to achieve said goal. And all of this will culminate in me sharing with you my goals for 2025. And trust me, if you pay attention, dare I say, if you're committed to becoming a better golfer and you take notes, whether you're writing them down or you're using the note app in your smartphone, you're going to gain nuanced perspective, little tidbits and shifts to help you set better goals and reverse engineer the clearest, most effective blueprint or roadmap you've ever had so you can finally achieve the next level breakthrough you've been seeking in 2025. 2024 was an interesting year for me on the course. You know, it wasn't until late April 2024 I played my first round in more than 15 years, and that's not counting the random round of 9 holes I played with one of my sister's ex-boyfriends a few years back. Though I do remember that round on a par 3, I finally got a hold of one and had a nice birdie. Maybe it was a par. I don't even recall. But I just remember it was a good score because everything else was like double, triple, quad. But I digress. And after that moment, the next couple of months, I was incredibly humbled. You know, the first time I finally got out on the course, I played 9. I shot a very generous 65 on 9 holes. Let me be clear. And I absolutely cashed in probably a dozen or so mulligans that I had saved up after not playing for so long. And I detailed that emotionally challenging and humbling experience in the second episode ever of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. But I was determined. This was a game I fell in love with when I was in elementary, middle, and a couple years in high school. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There are so many facets of the game that are simply reflections of the game of life. It quickly helps me identify my shortcomings, my opportunities for growth, while also highlighting some of my strengths. It's a game that I can continue to improve upon and learn about myself for literally the rest of my life. I believe the game of golf is a vehicle for self-actualization. It is a tool to help me become the best version of myself. And as these dots all started connecting the next couple of months, I underwent a subtle yet significant mindset shift. I went from being merely interested in becoming a better golfer to becoming committed to becoming a better golfer, to gaining the clarity that I wanted to be so committed I ultimately achieved becoming a scratch golfer. And as I gained more clarity, this clarity began to serve as a lens through which I made decisions. It filtered how and who I ultimately hired as a coach. And remember, I had an initial swing coach, and then I moved on to somebody else for a variety of reasons because it was in alignment with that ultimate goal of becoming a scratch golfer. I didn't want temporary short-term band-aid fixes to my swing. I wanted to rebuild, or rather, I guess build in this case, a swing from the ground up that would serve the test of time and allow me to achieve my goal. So as the months passed, I slowly started actually scoring real scores with one mulligan or no mulligans. Let me be clear on that. I started shooting in the hundreds. Finally broke 100. Posted a dozen or more scores in the 90s. And on one fateful day in October, I broke 90, shooting in 87, what ended up being about 24 hours before one of the two massive hurricanes struck. And then, well, life started a new chapter. I welcomed a newborn, and my little guy, as of recording this, is 5.5 weeks old and has changed my life in so many ways for the better. And as I enter 2025, every single year, I set a word of the year. And I use this word as kind of a northern star, a guide, a filter, if you will. And some of the words over the years have been authenticity. They've been play. Last year's or this year, 2024's word was commitment. And as I've racked my brain over and over on what I want 2025's word of the year to be, all joking aside, I keep coming back to golf. I am all fucking in on golf in 2025. So maybe the word is technically all in. Maybe the word is discipline. And I'll have that clarity in the coming days. It's December 26th as I record this, as this episode goes live. But the point is this. I've spent a lot of time while holding and catching cat naps with a newborn, in between changing diapers, reflecting on my golf goals for 2025. And tomorrow, December 27th, you will find my manuscript, my dissertation on my approach that culminates in sharing my 2025 goals with you. And this podcast episode is merely a verbal reflection of that, though you'll probably get a lot greater detail in written format, because boy, did I just open up and write in tomorrow's newsletter, which I'll come back and link below. But with that said, we're going to talk about my goals at the end of this episode. I'm going to give you the sneak peek. The ultimate goal for next year is I will become a 5 handicap. Period. You may be wondering, Paul, where are you technically right now? How realistic is this? I did a quick handicap estimator because I have not kept a handicap to date. I'm probably a 24 to 26 right now. And this time next year, I will be recording an episode reflecting on 2025 as a 5 or lower handicap. And it's so interesting. I had the pleasure of being on an episode of the Connected Instructor podcast. Highly recommend you go connect with Landon, follow him on social media, and listen to his podcast. And it was just organic in the way he started just naturally asking me, what are your goals for 2025? What are you working on? What are you prioritizing? And I was able to just speak from the heart, kind of off the cusp. And what he reflected back to me, and I'm so appreciative, was just the level of definitive commitment. Very nuanced in my word selection. And this is one takeaway I want you to extract already. It's not, I'm going to try to become a 5 handicap. It's I am, I will be. It's definitive, it's positive, it's future-paced, stepping into the present moment down the road. I am a 5 handicap. I'm going to peel back the layers to let that shine brightly over the coming months. But it's in me already. I know that to be true. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. There's conviction to it. And I need you to infuse conviction into your goals. I need you to share them confidently, courageously, not giving a fuck about what other people think, how they perceive them. Because let's be honest. Did you chuckle when I told you I'm a 24 to 26 handicap and will be a 5 in 12 months? Probably. Or you might have thought, well, fuck, that's kind of an audacious goal. I don't know about that, Paul. And let me remind you, that's merely a reflection of you and your beliefs about what you're worthy, deserving, and capable of, not a reflection of me. But you need to get convicted, confident, and courageous, announcing, committing to, and sharing your goals. And we're going to now use that as a jumping off point to really open this conversation on goals, answering perhaps one of, if not the most important questions. Why even set a goal? I mean, when we think about the game of golf, if you're someone who's fortunate enough to get a few dozen, maybe over 50 rounds a year, it's fun, it's leisure, it's pleasure, it's play. Do you need a goal more than just getting out to play X number of times? And some of you may argue no, but I'd argue abso-fucking-lutely. A goal is more than a destination. A goal is a metaphorical aim that directs your energy, your attention, and your intention toward achieving and experiencing a desired feeling state. I'm going to feel really good playing 50 rounds next year, but I'm going to feel fucking awesome playing 50 rounds and watching my handicap dramatically drop as I take money from my friends and start doing incredibly well in the handful of tournaments I play. A goal is a lens through which you filter your decisions and actions, providing you clarity in a world full of distractions. Like, let's be frank. In today's age of information overload, where literally every click tempts you with a shiny new object, a well-defined goal acts as your anchor. When you're clear on a goal, your decision-making becomes simpler, because if an action doesn't align with your goal, it's easier to let it go. This clarity then, in turn, it reduces overwhelm, it boosts confidence, and it helps you prioritize what truly matters. And at its core, and this is what I love most about goal setting, a goal isn't just about achieving said external result. It's about becoming a better version of yourself in the process. And we're going to talk about process a lot today. Goals are tools for growth. They literally demand you step outside your comfort zone and embrace the challenges that come with change. And as a human being, change is the one constant in life. If you're not actively growing and evolving or positively changing, you're stagnating, you're even regressing, all of which is negatively changing. Goals give you purpose, and this purpose is going to help you inevitably make positive change. They channel your efforts into something meaningful and tangible, ensuring that you're not just fucking going through the motions, showing up every day and checking boxes, but rather making progress toward a life, a golf game that excites and fulfills you. So let's talk about one of the most overlooked aspects of goal setting, because you and I both know there are 1,001 fucking podcasts and books and lessons and seminars on SMART goals. Do this, don't do that. Where many miss the mark is the following. Goal achievement requires an identity change. To achieve something different, you must do something different. To change, you must change. To do more, you must become more. Your identity is the foundation, or rather the encompassment. I don't know if that is a word, so I'll try it again. Your identity encompasses your habits, your beliefs, as well as your words and thoughts. Your words and thoughts basically encompass your self-talk. And one way to think about goal achievement and identity change is as a simple mathematical formula. If we put in parentheses words times thoughts times beliefs, and we multiply that by habits, that's going to generate your identity. And if you want to transform your identity, you need to change the components that make it up. Now, one misconception I have to highlight before we continue on is the misconception about doing more. If I want my identity to be more, I need to do more, is a very often misunderstood component of identity change. A common trap is just thinking I need to do more to be more to achieve more. And sometimes that is true. And let me be specific and relatable to you. If you want to be a better golfer and you're only practicing once a week, or you half-ass an inconsistent meditation routine, yeah, you probably need to practice more and meditate more to become a better golfer. But oftentimes, less is more. The key isn't quantity, it's quality and intention behind each deliberate action. And another way to look at this is, if you spend 5 sessions at the range every week and you show up without a plan, just kind of hitting through your bag, well, I have an imagination you're going to find it far more effective if you show up twice, maybe 3 times a week with a deliberate practice plan to work on the areas of your game that need it most. Now, coming back to identity, I think the most important question you need to ask yourself when gaining clarity on your ultimate goal is the following. Who do I need to become to achieve my goal? Who do I need to become? That, in and of itself, is a representation of the fact that you need to change your identity, step above and beyond where you are from who you are today. Because truthfully, if what you were doing today was enough to achieve your goal, you'd already fucking have achieved it. So to help you answer this question, who do I need to become to achieve my goal? You need to get clear. You need to picture someone real, imagine someone you kind of know you've seen at your club before who has already achieved your goal. If your goal is to become a 5 handicap, you need to start thinking of that individual you know who's a 5 handicap and start answering some of these questions. How do they speak to and about themselves? How do others speak about them? How do others speak about how they carry themselves during a round of golf? What habits, both golf-related and beyond the course, define their lifestyle? How do they carry themselves in and around the course? How do they respond to stress, pressure, and adversity? The clearer your understanding of this identity, the easier it becomes to reverse engineer your success and prioritize the behavior changes that will help you level up. So once we're clear on this identity, we can begin to use it as a filter for our decisions. And we can start asking ourselves, if I'm right now a 25 handicap and I'm sitting here auditing my current practice approach, well, would a 5 handicap practice once a week? Would a 5 handicap skip his or her pre-shot routine half the time? And very clearly, I can gain clarity on what I need to work on, prioritize more, and let go of by aligning your habits and actions with the identity of the golfer you aspire to become. You'll improve your game a hell of a lot faster, and you'll enjoy the process of becoming the best version of yourself. And here's what I really need you to understand. The best ROI that my clients experience isn't on the golf course. Though, those results have been nothing short of fucking incredible. Instead, the big ROI that complements the results they're experiencing on the course is in how they show up each day for themselves as the best version of themselves, for their loved ones, their peers, their employees, their employer. So I'll challenge you. If you're serious about getting out of your own way and becoming the best version of yourself on and off the course, check out the link in the show notes below. Connect with me. Let's schedule a mindset coaching discovery call so I can help you understand how I can help you get unstuck, out of your own way, and unlock your potential. Now, we're clear on why goal setting matters. We're clear on gaining clarity of the identity of the individual who's achieved your goal. Who are you going to become once you've achieved your goal? And now we get to start working backwards. And I will give a shout out to my friend, Dr. Jason Novetsky. You may know him or the name from the Chasing Scratch podcast. He was kind enough to join me. I'll link the episode below. Off the top of my head, I think it's episode 25 or 27. We had a good discussion, and he helped give me better words, terminology, and help really better articulate my approach to goal setting using a similar approach to the framework I'm going to describe. So our framework for goal setting, our reverse engineered framework for goal setting and the accompanying blueprint we need to cultivate is broken down into 3 distinct categories. We have our ultimate goal. I've already shared that with you. My ultimate goal is I will be a 5 handicap golfer this time next year. Then we have performance goals and we have process goals. And I want to take a moment to expand upon each. Your ultimate goal is your big picture destination, your desired result. It's specific, it's measurable, it's challenging, it's motivating, and it's intimidating in the best way. If sharing your ultimate goal makes you pause, feel nervous or afraid, it's a good sign. It means this goal will push you out of your comfort zone, which is the sweet spot for growth. Your ultimate goal is your northern star, guiding your time, energy, effort, and decision making. And it's the achievement of this goal that delivers that indescribable sense of pride, accomplishment, and fulfillment you're striving for. Now, your ultimate goal, and you can picture like on a whiteboard, ultimate goal, then you have like a branch or two coming down. It's your ultimate goal that shapes your performance goals. Your performance goals are the measurable milestones that pave the way to your ultimate goal. You can think of performance goals as the specific and attainable mini goals that keep you on track towards your ultimate goal, provide clear, objective feedback on your progress, and highlight areas needing adjustment or extra focus. It's important that you recognize achieving your performance goals won't guarantee you reach your ultimate goal, but they will ensure you come as close as fucking possible. So for instance, if your ultimate goal is to become a scratch golfer, performance goals are going to include lowering your putting average, increasing your greens in regulation, and increasing fairways hit. These metrics are going to provide valuable insights into your current trajectory and current hangups in your golf game today, which helps you shape deliberate practice and go further to achieving your goal. And with that said, your performance goals shape your process goals. And if you can learn to fall in love with process goals, it's going to be your superpower that pushes you leaps and bounds beyond what you thought you were capable of, and equally important, leaps and bounds beyond your playing partners, peers, and competitors. Process goals are the daily and weekly actions that make up the process. This is where the magic happens. Consistency in executing your process goals is the foundation of achieving your ultimate goal. But here's the challenge. Consistency. Sticking to your process goals day in and day out, especially when the results feel distant or the progress seems slow or you had a horrible round, sticking to your process goals will test your discipline more than anything else. So, for example here, in creating these process goals, instead of focusing on getting better, it's too general, it's vague. We need to get incredibly granular, nitty-gritty, and clear. So if you're striving to improve your putting, you need to practice short putts between 3 and 5 feet or between 4 and 7 feet, 30 minutes a day, 3 times per week. You need to complete a focused range session specifically using your driver and your one shot shape twice per week. Or maybe you need to spend 10 minutes every single day visualizing your approach shots, visualizing how you show up free of doubt and anxiety, filled with confidence and trust in your swing, your game, and your target. When you begin to break down your bigger dreams into performance goals and ultimately process goals, you create an actionable roadmap. And this keeps you motivated and focused and allows you to see and feel the progress that you're making. And I think that's so powerful because when we think of progress is what keeps us going. Seeing the measurable improvement in greens hit, putting average, fairways hit. But equally important is the perception of progress because oftentimes many of us fail to recognize that there's a lag effect. We put in the time and effort for a couple of weeks. And so many of us get frustrated and we throw in the towel, we throw our hands up and we quit because we haven't seen progress, when in reality, another week of consistency would yield a very noticeable chunk of progress. So equally important as seeing progress is seeing and experiencing the perception of progress. So I'm a big fan of visually seeing what I call a habit tracker. And there's an app for this, and I'm going to show you on my journey I've got a whiteboard in my office that will have my daily and weekly non-negotiables up there, and I'm going to check them off every day or however many times per week I need to do them so I can visually see I'm moving the needle in the right direction. And there might be a lag before I see the number of putts dropped per round, the number of greens hit per round. But I trust that those actions that made it on the board are most effective and aligned with my performance goals, which are most effective and aligned with my ultimate goal. I can trust I'm focused on the right thing. And the way I evaluate as to whether or not that's true is whether 30 or 90 days, take a big fucking step back. And this is another key point for you. And I reflect, I audit, I review. My personal plan is every 30 days, reflecting back on the month, the rounds played, the practice session, the progress in executing what I said I would do, and seeing the number of takeaways I can extract, learn, and apply moving forward, which may lead to me updating some of my process or even performance goals. Now, here's the one thing I also think important to make clear is you likely have a very good understanding of what it is you need to do to achieve your ultimate and your performance goals. You don't have a lack of information problem, but you do have a mindset problem. You do fall victim to scatterbrain when during this journey you need to develop strategic tunnel vision. And that's where I come into play. And that's why so many avid, amateur, and competitive aspiring professional golfers have hired me in the last couple of months during their off season so they can experience a next level breakthrough in 2025. Because if you know what to do and you're constantly not doing it due to fear of success, fear of embarrassment, failure, the overarching pain and frustration of identity change, you have a mindset problem. And if you're serious about getting out of your own way and playing to your potential, I invite you to use the link below to schedule a mindset coaching discovery call with me so I can help you understand how I can make playing to your potential a habit. So I like to go one step further with process goals. And again, another low-hanging fruit opportunity many people miss the mark in. Golf and successful golf is about so much more than the swing. Yes, again, golf and successful golf is about so much more than the swing. And fuck, I'm so mad I'm going to butcher this quote. But I had the pleasure of having Mark Immelman join me on an episode of the pod. It'll come out in a couple of weeks. And he basically said, I'm paraphrasing because the quote's not in front of me, that continuing to work on your swing is the easy way out. And I love that because it's so true. There's no shortage of information and coaches to help you work on your swing. It's easy to find little nuances of your swing to improve. But if you struggle to bounce back after blow-up holes, if you struggle under pressure, if you get anxious and show up with fear, doubt, and a lack of trust over every putt or approach shot, that's the opportunity for growth for you. So we need to take a holistic approach to accelerating results and developing you as a well-rounded golfer. So that's why I like to get more granular when it comes to setting process-specific goals, because it's easy. It's easy to focus on the technical aspects of the swing or of your short game, but it's also easy to neglect the physical, mental, and emotional aspects of the game that, if you calibrate and turn up the dial of intention and energy, go a long way in serving as catalysts to help you achieve your golf-specific goal. So I like to break process goals down further into fitness-specific and then mental and emotional-specific goals. When you think of your identity, this golfer you're aspiring to become, scratch, 5 handicap, club champion, professional golfer, that golfer, they're strong, they're mobile, they're flexible, and they're powerful. They rotate smoothly through large ranges of motion. They possess a strong core, and they prioritize doing what is necessary to minimize their risk for injury. Your exercise routine should reflect your commitment to improving your golf game. This was a struggle for me. I have decades of a bodybuilding mentality. I have a handful of bodybuilding competitions, a handful of successful powerlifting meets. I used to train like a meathead. I have this urge to go train like a meathead. But once I started to understand how many limitations I had in rotation, mobility, and flexibility, I finally recognized that I needed to change. So your exercise routine should reflect your commitment to becoming a better golfer. They should be focused on helping you develop strength, power, rotational ability, mobility, flexibility, core strength, endurance. There should be elements of resistance training, mobility, flexibility, core strength, and injury prevention. And for me personally, I'm a big fan of asking for help. I encourage you to hire a coach to create a personalized program. I personally am using the Golf Forever program to help me with my fundamental mobility, flexibility, and then rotational power. And I've heard nothing but great things. Admittedly, I've never used it, but I also have a lot of respect for Mike Carroll, the developer and creator of the Fit for Golf resistance training and mobility app. So I encourage you to check that out as well. Whatever you choose, you need to ensure your efforts in the gym are purposeful and are going to directly translate to better improvement on the course. Second, we need to examine the other process-specific bucket, which is mental and emotional goals. And let's just be candid. The best golfers are those who can access their potential on demand, especially under pressure. They bounce back quickly from bad breaks and mistakes, and they demonstrate emotional resilience and mental toughness from the practice range to the 18th hole. But I also want to be clear. They're not robots. They experience the same emotions as anyone else. Anger, anxiety, disappointment, and regret on the course, as well as a whole slew of emotions away from the course that they have to manage and not let bleed in to their round of golf. What sets them apart is their ability to manage these emotions, to remain calm, collected, and confident when it matters most. What can you do to strengthen your mental and emotional game? Well, first, I can tell you need to prioritize it just as much as you do working on the technical aspect of your game. My first recommendation is you need to cultivate some form of a mindfulness practice. Meditation, breathwork, journaling, a guided meditation app, box breathing every morning. I love a journaling practice, a gratitude practice, or just simply sitting in silence. The goal with this practice is to create a quiet, reflective space where you can build emotional awareness, process your feelings, deepen your understanding of yourself, why you are the way you are, and do the things you do, and identify the beliefs or habits that no longer serve you. Further complementing this mindfulness practice, seek support. I'm a big believer. I probably already said it on this episode. Asking for help accelerates results. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. So consider downloading that app, meditation, breathwork, or otherwise. Consider working with a therapist to explore deep emotional patterns that are holding you back. Or consider connecting with me, hiring a high-performance hypnotherapist and mindset coach to help you get unstuck, to help you dismantle those destructive mindset programs and toxic emotions that are keeping you stuck, so we can unlearn them and upgrade them to help you become the best version of yourself. And let me make clear, working on your emotional, mental game, it's the greatest gift you can give, not just to yourself, but also to your loved ones and your golf game. Now, one of the points, to be frank, I wasn't sure where to include in this podcast, is all about knowing your why. So when it comes to setting your ultimate goal, why does it matter to you? Why is it important? Why do you care enough to push through the discomfort that comes with achieving this goal? Why do you care enough to make the necessary sacrifices that come with shedding this current identity and stepping into this new one? Your why is the emotional fuel that will sustain you during the inevitable grind of the process. Again, your why is the emotional fuel that will sustain you during the inevitable grind of the process. let's be frank, there's going to be days where your plan calls for 20 minutes of indoor putting practice or 30 minutes of working with your long irons on the range. That's the last thing you want to do. Even if you love the game and you love the practice, there will undoubtedly be moments where it's the last thing you want to do and it feels like a chore. And I found this especially true when it comes to needing to tackle the indirect process goals like mobility and stretching, where the payoff on the course is not immediate, to say the least. It's in these moments your why becomes your anchor. It's what you'll fall back on when doubt creeps in, when your alarm blares at 5 a.m. for your morning gym session, or when it's late and you'd rather go to bed and skip your meditation, but you know you need to get it done. Your why is the juice that keeps you moving forward when it would be so much easier to stop. So a couple prompts to help you leverage this powerful motivational tool include, why does your goal matter? To you, not anyone else. What emotion drives your desire to achieve it? What will it feel like if you don't achieve this goal? What will it feel like if you don't execute what you said you would do? Your why needs to be infused with emotion and needs to be deeply personal. And a clear, strong, and intimate connection to your goal gives you a competitive edge over your peers and your playing partners. So with that said, we've reached a point where you've more or less heard my dissertation on the goal-setting approach. And it's now time for me to begin to unveil my goals for 2025. And I will share with you, these are going to have another review or 5. You're going to get the gist and the direction. They'll be fully fleshed out by the end of the year, so I've got 5 more days or so. But I want to share how I've taken what it is I've just shared with you, gleaned awareness, and then use that awareness to put together an action plan. My ultimate goal is I will be a 5 handicap by the end of December 2025. This goal is important to me because it will push me out of my comfort zone in so many ways. It will force me to combat and confront my fears. It will force me to play golf alongside people I view a hell of a lot more successful or established or having achieved more. It will push me to be in the spotlight. It will push me to have more eyes and attention on me. Both of those scenarios typically bring a level of discomfort and tend to leave me going inward. This game will push me to take more deliberate action toward a goal than ever before. With a newborn, trying to maximize and prioritize my relationship with him and my romantic relationship, I will need to become better at managing my time. I will, frankly, need to become better at communicating my goals, clarifying, protecting, and reinforcing my boundaries. I love every aspect of what is necessary to achieve this goal. This goal will force me to carry myself differently, with poise, with a quiet, indescribable confidence in all that I do. It will force me to show up for myself every single day. And it will leave me with an indescribable level of pride, fulfillment, and accomplishment when I see that index drop to a 5.0 for the first time. Because, to be frank, my practice habits, the consistency of my fitness specific, the consistency of even my own mental and emotional process specific goals is not on par with a 5 handicap. This goal will force me out of my comfort zone in so many ways, and the sick, twisted part of my brain fucking loves that. I am so excited. There's an element of me too that wants to prove to you what's fucking possible when you go all in, are committed, and execute with the utmost discipline what needs to be done, especially when you least feel like doing it, to achieve your goal. This year is about growth for me on the course, which will directly transfer to growth in my personal life, my romantic life, my fatherhood life. I think that more or less works. and in my professional life. Like, let me be frank. I work, my ideal target audience is not only competitive and amateur golfers, but it's the entrepreneurs, the business owners, the high performers who also are avid golfers, because golf, poker, entrepreneurship are three beautiful mirrors or reflection of life. They all go hand in hand. And as I play better golf, let's be frank, I get more and better opportunities to play with better golfers, surrounding me with more successful individuals whom I get to learn from and whom also I can teach and help as well. It's a true win-win situation. So this golf goal of mine carries so much weight. I'm so excited. So that was a very long-winded way to kind of emotionally off the cusp share my why underneath it all. Getting more granular, performance goals. And here's one nuance I forgot to mention. And it didn't dawn on me until I was kind of revising this. Like, my performance goals, I had them set, and I'll share them in a moment. But then I went, because I have a bit of a perfectionist tendency, if you haven't gleaned that from listening to the show. So I went and looked at some ARCOS data to better temper my expectations. Yeah, I'd love to hit 80% of fairways and 80% of my greens in regulation. Yes, I know that's not even realistic, but I needed to see what is realistic for a 5 handicap. So after reviewing the ARCOS data and just doing some additional research online, I've better tempered my expectations to help me set more realistic, feasible performance goals. So 50% fairways hit, 48% greens in regulation, and 32 putts per round. That's where I'm at. That is my initial draft of my performance goals. And going more specific, my process goals encompass all of the following. This is where I'm still gaining some clarity on the framework. And I want to be clear. Once I have that clarity, all of this goes on my calendar. I'm a big user of my Google Calendar. I already have my workouts and my practice and my playing rounds on the calendar. There will be some adjustments and some updates, but you need to put it on the calendar. Your work calendar, your personal calendar, block out that time ahead of time. No fucking excuses. Get it on there, get it done. If it's on the calendar, it gets done. And I bet you, I could ask you, if I asked you to show me your calendar right now, I could instantly tell you what is truly a priority in your life. Even if you say it's one thing, your calendar will reflect what it truly is. Get those non-negotiable process goals on your calendar. So for me, 3 total body resistance training workouts per week. These will be golf specific. 5 golf forever workouts per week. Specifically 3 fundamentals workouts and 2 rotational power workouts. I complete a written after round report for each golf round, and I review this every month to gain clarity and to reflect on what I need to improve upon and focus on for the next month. I am committed to becoming a student of the Decade Golf Program. I have not yet started. I actually might get to it this afternoon, begin diving into understanding that. And I mean student. I'm not going to just binge the content. I'm going to watch, take notes, reflect, be deliberate, methodical in my implementation so that I truly, by the end of the year, feel I could teach the Decade Golf system. I want to get to that level of mastery. Additionally, I am in the process of finalizing my mindfulness practice every morning. There's going to be a breathwork meditation component. I'm just kind of back and forth as to whether or not I want to create my own custom recording or use the Primed Mind app, which I've had great success with before. I have a daily goal. Yes, daily, of my ice bath, my cold plunge. And I consider that a mindfulness practice because I immediately go inward and focusing on my breath and going inward to really begin even creating a visualization session during the 3 to 5 minutes I spend in that cold weather. So that's cold water. That's a non-negotiable as well. So you see here, we've got a mixture of physical, mental, and emotional process goals. I'm committed to my journaling practice, which includes 5 things I'm grateful for, rating my daily energy, talking about the emotion I feel that morning, and then rewriting my ultimate goal every single day. And all of these are clear in my mind. It's just editing the expectation on a weekly basis. Some of these, and I've even said them, will be daily. Some of them will be X number of times per week. Additionally, some supporting goals. This is kind of the bucket I would label them. I will play in 60 or more rounds during 2025. So or 65, 65. It's a little bit more than one per week. I will compete in 8 tournaments that will really get me outside of my comfort zone, which I know is where the magic happens. And one big goal I've set that I'm actually going to achieve tomorrow is I'm joining a country club. I am joining Tampa Palms, using this to really help surround me with better golfers, surround me with more challenging greens, fairways, and course layouts, surround myself with, just high achieving like-minded individuals, and really looking forward to building a community within the Tampa Palms Country Club as well. That's where I'm at. I have a coach too, absolutely worth mentioning. I plan to meet with him likely on a monthly basis. I already have my first lesson, or my next lesson scheduled, first one of the new year, on January 8th. And I will use and leverage the hell out of him during lessons and in between for consistent feedback. Well, there it is. It's simple. I have the game plan. It'll all be written on my whiteboard. It will be reviewed daily. There will be moments where it sucks to do X, Y, and Z for the day. I won't want to do. It'll be early in the morning. It'll be late at night. There will be times where I miss. I won't be perfect, not even close. But I trust my why is strong enough to serve as the emotional fuel I need to do what needs to be done, even when I don't feel like doing it. I trust that the collection of my process goals will influence my ability to achieve my performance goals, which will collectively exponentially increase the likelihood I achieve my ultimate goal. I will be a 5 handicap golfer this time next year. Mark it, hold me to it, hold me accountable, challenge me, check in on me. And with that said, I thank you so much. I encourage you to listen to this episode again. Or if you're someone who prefers to read, to learn, and take action, check out tomorrow's newsletter and the More Pars Than Bogeys newsletter. I'll link it below once the newsletter goes live. If you're finding value in this podcast, will you do me a favor and take 30 seconds? Leave a genuine rating review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. This goes a long way in supporting and growing the show. I thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful end of the year, a phenomenal start to 2025. Hit them straight this week, and I'll catch you in the next episode.